I am back. Okay, let's talk about the egg retrieval. So, as you know, it was Thursday morning. I was asked to come in at 9:30 in the morning, which I got there at 9 because I just wanted to make sure that I was registered correctly. Oh, there's a fucking fly. And that there was no issues with anything. Got there at 9 and they immediately put me in a room that was so much nicer than the one last year. I don't know. It's not like I paid extra or anything. Everything was the same as last year, but this room was like top notch. Had a sofa, had 2 TVs, just like really, really fancy. I'll show you what it looked like. Okay, so now that you saw what it looks like, that is me getting ready as I just arrived. They essentially, they put you in your room, let you settle in, explain to you what's gonna happen. The nurse comes in, takes your blood pressure, and makes you take off your clothes, puts the gown. You have this really funny underwear that you have to wear. And then leaves and says that the doctor, like around what time the doctor will be here to explain to you what he's gonna do. But considering I got there early, and then there was, I guess, a lot of people before me, I didn't actually go into surgery until 11:30. I'm gonna spit my gum because I've been told it's rude to do that when I'm talking to people. And so before I went in, the doctor came in and said that he was going to be using this specific kind of needle that was bigger than the usual one that they use, because essentially what they do is the needle goes into your vagina, through onto your ovaries, and then they usually like suck the eggs out. But in this case, this specific procedure they were going to do on me was they were going to fill my ovaries with water and push them out. Fill them in, push them out. I'm not really sure why, but that's what he told me he was going to do. I asked if I was going to feel more pain because of it and stuff. He said no, that I shouldn't. So anyway, he was a lovely doctor, and so shout out to Luca. And then he left. The anesthesiologist came, asked me a bunch of questions, made me sign a bunch of forms, asked me if I was allergic to anything. Of course, you have these wristbands too, which has your name, your date of birth, and they ask you about 100 million times what your name is and when your birthday is. They want to make sure they have the right patient. Then they just say, okay, well, we'll come back to get you when we're ready. And then you just kind of chill in the room. I was like watching TV on my phone, literally chilling. I was almost falling asleep because I was so tired. And I wasn't particularly nervous for the actual surgery itself. I was nervous that, as you know, that I was gonna get, like, what the outcome was gonna be, basically. If it was 0 eggs, 1, 2, or 3, like, that was what's stressing me out, and the weight was just killing me. But like I mentioned, I absolutely adored the anesthesia last year, so I was actually looking forward to going under anesthesia. And so anyway, they rolled me in, and it was actually really nice vibes inside the room. A bit intimidating, I guess, if it's your first time, but because I had done it before, I was a bit like more chill about it. Put you in this table with your bum out. Like, you just have like this gown, but your butt's out. And then I had the anesthesiologist, and I had about 5 different people surrounding me. I had Luca, the guy who did my surgery, he's not my like actual fertility consultant. He's just the actual guy who does the surgery. So then my actual consultant was there, gave me a fist pump, said good luck. So like, what I like to say is that genuinely, like, I don't know if it's like this in every clinic. I've been extremely lucky that in this clinic, everyone has been so absolutely amazing and loving and make you feel calm, and they understand like this is such an intense process. So it just really helps to have like that energy around you. So they were playing, actually, there was a radio in the surgery room, and whilst they've put the not laughing gas, the mask with gas to like make you sleepy, as they were putting the catheter in. But you can't really see it anymore, but I had a huge bruise here from the catheter that was put in my veins. So I don't really have big veins, so like the lady was literally slapping my hand, like trying to get a vein to pop, but then she was like, I can't really get one, it's just really gonna hurt. And then catheter in, but I was like so excited about the anesthesia that I was like, get it done. And then the laughing gas, woo! Flowers by Miley Cyrus was playing in the background. I was like, this is a vibe. This is the kind of energy I need right now. And as I was falling asleep, I just, like, the last thing I remember was saying, this is the best part of the whole process. And like the nurses were laughing at me. Then blackout, no idea. I just get like, boop, 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 wake up. Apparently had been an hour, I think. And they just say, oh, everything went well. We're just gonna take you back to your room. And then I don't really remember anything, because I assume I fell back asleep because I was still super out of it. And I woke up in my room, I guess 40 minutes after that. No pain, nothing. And like I mentioned, you have to be able to eat, and you have to be able to pass urine to be able to be released from the hospital. So at this point, I reckon it was about 1:30 p.m. And so the food arrived, and apparently they say that women like struggle to eat because they're nauseous and then feel really hungry and stuff. Not me. I literally, the 2 times, like last year, same, this year, wake up and the first thing I like want is food. Like, I'm starving, bring me the food. So the nurse was like, fuck, that's quick. Within 10 minutes, I had scoffed down the entire lunch and peed within 15 minutes after that. So I was fine. The only reason why it took so long for me to be allowed to go home, so I got home around 4:30, 5 p.m, whereas a year ago I was home by like 2 p.m, was because they were just all super busy, and so they would take a really long time to come back in the room and like let me know if I can go and blah blah. They also come in and tell you, they give you this like pamphlet that says how to prevent blood clots, because apparently you're at high risk of blood clots after egg retrieval. So they tell you to drink 2 liters of water every day, make sure to like move your body, and yeah, basically take care of yourself so that you don't get a risk of blood clotting. And then that's it really. Oh no, of course. Then obviously the waiting game. So as soon as you wake up, you don't know when, but someone will ring the phone. It's not like a doctor comes in and they're like, this is how many eggs we managed to collect, this is how many you had, blah blah blah, the whole thing. No, it's through a phone. Like the embryologist will call your room and tell you everything. So you're essentially there like, okay, you're eating your lunch, you're like, you know, but knowing that in the back of your mind, as soon as that phone rings, you will know how many were frozen. So the phone rings, and obviously my heart's beating really fast, but I had said to myself that morning that I'm gonna just say to myself that I'm gonna get no eggs, because I don't want to get my hopes up. Of course, I'd be really happy if it's 1, 2, incredibly happy if it's 3, but if it's 0, like that is just the way it is. So breaking news, they were able to collect 3 eggs. So the 3 follicles that I had that you've seen in my scans, the 3 of them had eggs. And do you remember that there was 2 leading ones, like the 2 really big ones, and then there was one that was a bit smaller than the other. So they were able to test the 3, make sure they were all good, mature, and 2 out of those 3 were, which makes sense for the 2 big ones. and that other one wasn't really ready yet. And so yeah, I froze 2 out of 3 eggs. So that's 2 more in the bank. So I had 4 eggs frozen last year, so I've got 2 more, so 6. I want, like I mentioned, between 10 and 15 eggs. So essentially, knowing my body and how it's been reacting, I will need minimum 2 more cycles of egg freezing to reach that number. So I was happy, obviously, that it was 2 in that moment when they called me, because I was like, okay, it's better than nothing. And then as the like actual news were setting in, and I like, it was just like such a emotional roller coaster to be done with the surgery and like just all of it, that I just couldn't stop crying. It was like just Niagara Falls for an hour, just crying. I was really upset that I had only gotten 2 eggs, that after all the effort that you put in, you know, taking care of your body, like being healthy, going through the injections themselves, which aren't easy, like it just felt a bit like, fuck, you know. Now I have to do this 2 more times instead of just 1 more time, or the fact that I even have to do 4 cycles versus other women who have to do 1. You start comparing yourself, you're like, what's wrong with my body, like why, blah blah blah. It's just like so many thoughts going through your head, and it's hard to have that perspective. And really, now that I'm like, you know, surgery was Thursday, today's Tuesday, that it's been 4 days later, that I'm able to just be like, listen, those 2 more can make a huge difference. You never know. You know, there's people that get 1 egg and they're just fucking lucky that they have a kid with that 1 egg. So at least I'm young, and like I mentioned, I'm lucky that I'm able to do this as many times as possible to get the best amount of eggs I can. But at the end of the day, we're human, and so it's normal to have felt this way. So anyway, I got home. What is that? Okay, anyway. The weird people in my neighborhood. And anyway, got home after that, was still very much upset. I pretty much feel like I cried all day. I just was not in a good mood. I was relieved that it was over, but I was not in a good mood. But also I was a bit like, woo, with my sedative still. So even, you know, when I got released from the hospital, I walked to the tube, took the tube home, walked home. So to give you perspective, these flies are driving me nuts. I have way too many plants in this house. So give you perspective of like, it's like the actual surgery itself. It's not surgery, it's more like a little thing that happens. Of course, you have to go on general anesthesia, so it's not like super little, but you're able to walk home completely fine. And some people even go back to work, genuinely. But I would definitely recommend like booking a whole day out of work, and just in case you don't feel very good, and stay home. So then I just got home, yeah, and basically tried to make myself feel better. And then I was super swollen. Like, and by swollen, I mean my belly, I look like 6 months pregnant. I will insert pictures at the end of this video so you can see that I'm not exaggerating. And so my mind switched to, I just want to like not be bloated anymore. I want to be able to go back to my normal life, be able to go to the pub, have a beer, and work out, and just have my routine back. So I'm very impatient when it comes to that. But I guess that I'm also lucky that my body bounces back really quickly. Like, and I don't know, it's because of my mindset, but also supplements that I'm taking to help me like swell down. So for example, I'm taking, hold on, I will bring what I'm taking. Okay, so same brand as that other supplements that I showed you. This one is called Deep Bloat. It's literally what I need. And it says supercharged relief from chronic bloating and indigestion, a proprietary blend of 17 digestive enzymes, cinnamon, ginger, turmeric, clinically proven to reduce bloating and nausea within 30 days. So I've been taking this twice a day with food, then eating a ton of pineapple, drinking 2 liters of water every day as they've instructed me to, and making sure that I move my body this time, because obviously now I'm like, I mean, you have to protect obviously your ovaries because you had an intervention. But the reason they tell you can't work out when you're growing tons and tons of follicles is because your ovary can twist, because I don't have them anymore because they've been frozen. I can push myself a little bit more, but they do tell you to go take it slow, basically listen to your body. So I Friday woke up, started taking this. I mean, obviously you feel still like not yourself. It's not your hormones are still very much in your body. And so yeah, Friday I actually had a lot of my really good friends' birthdays. Weirdly, I had 3 parties on Friday night. And I didn't go because I was still very much going through all the emotions. Like, you still have hormones, like I mentioned, so I'd find myself crying like randomly, and I just didn't feel like socializing, and I just wanted to take care of my mental health and my body. And I know that it's a process and it takes time, so I just needed to be patient. Like, in my head I was like, yay, surgery Thursday, I'm gonna be out partying Friday. Like, no. Like, calm down. And it came Saturday and I had my first beer. It was really fun. Went just honestly day by day, really. I started feeling better Saturday, then came around Sunday feeling better, little by little, less bloated. Yesterday was Monday. Finally, like, I would say Mondays, yesterday I felt like myself again. I could feel like, because I'm drinking so much water, like I'm flushing out the hormones. I have all my energies back. I did Pilates in the morning. Today I went spinning at 7 a.m. So honestly, Thursday has been 5 days and I'm already back doing my exercise. So very, very happy now, and basically just taking it day by day. It's a process. So if I recovered essentially this quickly and others might not, it's just a very, like I mentioned, person to person thing. The plan for the future, considering I only have 6 eggs frozen total, are the following. So I have a new strategy. And now that I've learned that every cycle is different, and it might be that this one wasn't great, and then also learned that, so every time you have your period, every month, you ovulate, you ovulate from your right ovary or from your left ovary. Everyone has a more dominant ovary. My dominant ovary is my right ovary. This cycle, I was ovulating from my left ovary. So when the injections were going in, it was like more pushing my less strong ovary. So that's maybe a reason why I didn't get enough eggs. And they, like, you ovulate from different ovaries each month. So essentially, a good way to check whether it's a good cycle to freeze your eggs is by doing an ultrasound when you're in your period and seeing how many baseline follicles you have. And that is a good way to tell. So what I'm going to do now is every time I'm on my period, I'm going to do an ultrasound and see what the nurses say. I was like, this looks really good. Like I mentioned a year ago at my baseline scan, I had 12 follicles, and this one I had 6. So let's say, in a couple months, one of my baseline scans is like, I don't know, 15 follicles. I'll be like, cool, this is a great cycle, and I'll start doing it. It is annoying because you're going to have to think about it every month, but it's much better that way than going through what I did and just having a shitty outcome. You want to maximize your chances. So it's just a couple, I guess, for me, it will be a couple years of my life where I've had to think about this, unfortunately, but the outcome, as I said, is worth it. So that is my strategy for the future. In the meantime, my next video will be about the finances, ways you can cut the prices, and give or take how much it costs, and be very transparent with you about everything. And then also, very exciting news, we will be holding a Zoom with a fertility coach, who's actually, I have a call with her tomorrow. She's going to be helping me as well in ways that you can maximize your chances of a successful egg retrieval. So she's going to tell me what certain foods are good to eat, like a holistic approach into what she thinks I should do. And then we will have a Zoom in April with her, and anyone can sign up by DMing me your email address, and I can add you and send you the invitation. And it will essentially be a space where we talk about different themes. We can have a Q&A, and I will give you more information, of course, when we officially launch this Zoom invitation. But yeah, so even though I'm done with this process for now, I will continue to share valuable information about egg freezing and women fertility in the hopes of trying to help anyone who is going through it and or thinking about it. And in the meantime, adios. It's been a pleasure. I'm sure you're bored of my face. It's been real. Bye.